Hello, folks, and welcome to another episode of CrystalMind Chronicles. This is the first episode I'm going to be recording in this sort of new, longer form format, so we're going to maybe do a bit more today, but it won't necessarily be quite as detailed. If there is a build that I want to really break down on, I will, don't worry, and I have a couple that I want to show you. But, we should get started. Now let's see if I have my to-do list. We've said that we're going to be automating a bunch of things with magic mods, and that's what we're going to proceed on. And I think the first thing that we're going to work on is what I call the Grongle growth farm. And the goal there is to make the materials we need to get started upstairs, because I realized that a very techie thing is a tree farm, and we would use lots of tech mods to accomplish that. So we're going to do that. Then we're probably going to upgrade our source production, because we do need a way to power all these builds, and you'll see we'll start going through it quick. And then we will probably start working on an ore processing system. But first, I just want to say I've started on Britannia. There's nothing here that I don't think that there are many other Britannia playthroughs worth noting. I just kind of went in, got the basic system, got a basic dropper, you know, got the Jaded Amaranthus so that I can make what I want. I made a band of aura. I got my ring of magnetization, which really is one of the better magnets in the pack. I like the way it works. And it's less annoying. And I put down some Solignolias so that, you know, Carbunky over there, Starbunky over there can, oh, by the way, I gave him a bed. You know, he can continue to work. Oh, good Starbunkle. Anyways, so let's go ahead and get started on the next thing, which is we need to make warped stems. We need to make lots of them. Now, the problem with that is that there is no, like, recipe for warped stem, except for some pretty complicated things involving haunting, right? We could use the transmute glyph from Ars Omega, but I don't really think that's good. Alternatively, we could make a mushroom farm, run it through with the Crimson Altar in Nature's Aura, which is an interesting idea. Also, warped fungus colonies can grow due to Nether's Delight, but I can't help but think that this is kind of beaten around the bush. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by producing lots of warped stem, crimson roots. We're going to start by making lots of warped fungus and crimson roots and regular warped roots. And then we're going to turn that into a farm for warped stem. So let me go get what I need. And I think maybe we'll put that in the wall. This has been my hidey spot in here. So maybe we'll get started there. All right, folks, let's see if we can get this system working. So I've made a spell from too many glyphs. We take a look at it here. We'll probably need to modify this, but I think it's workable. And what it does is it sends a projectile to the ground that can hit anything, including weeds or mushrooms or whatever, and then breaks it in a 3x3 space. Then propagates another projectile that hits the ground that causes an AoE grow and then another grow. I can show you what that looks like after I prime this. So first we'll do a regular grow spell. And as you can see, this causes basically a whole bunch of growth to occur. Now, we might not want to have the center of this become a warped fungus, so we might make the center of it something else. I don't know yet what we're going to do there. I haven't figured it out, but something that the spell can hit but can't break might be the right call. So I might be able to get like a piece of obsidian or something like that, or maybe something that the projectile can pass through, or I might change to something like propagate underfoot. But anyways, so if I float up in the air here, and then cast this spell downwards, you can see that we immediately get a full set of things. So this spell pointed straight down does the business. Now, I don't necessarily want... I want to kind of have this room look tidy and have netherracked walls and some glass. So we're not going to put the spell in here. I think we're going to put the turret over here where it'll be easier to wire. I think that's the plan anyways. So what we're going to do is grab a spell turret here, a basic one, right? And then let's just, let's modify this spell a little bit. I don't know if we need that last grow, right? So, we kind of do. Let's see, how are we going to do that part? Well, let's just try it and see. I think I have an idea for how we can pick things up, but I don't think I can fit pickup in this spell, because we really do kind of need the extra grow, and we can't get rid of sensitive. So that'll be break, like so. So it's very important that we have this last grow, because this spell will break and cause a bunch of problems if the first part of the spell, the break spell, actually hits the warped Nylium blocks. So we have to prevent that at all costs. Now, so I think that if I right-click this, right, and then set the spell, I can pull it off and I can set it on this, right? Now, let's grab a button. I think we have a lot of them. And if we fire that straight down, it'll be a problem. But we have spell prisms. So what we can do is, I think I need to get into this space. So let's do that. I think with the thing that really helps with this is to get a personal shrinking device, right? And then set it to small, right? And we can still jump a pretty decent height. We can still get up a block. So what I just need to do is grab my pocket storage, get a few blocks. We'll break this. Yeah. And I just need to get up into the space just below that, so that what's going to happen is this will fire down, hit the spell prism, and then reappear over here, right? And I think that will be what we want. So, all right, folks, so let's go ahead and set this up appropriately. I think I have a pretty good design here. I don't know how we'll decorate it, but first, let me show you the spell. It is right here. So this spell is going to take projectile sensitive, break AoE. So this basically can hit some, you know, weeds or whatever. There we go. We've got a nice set of things. Actually, this is fantastic. We can put these and preload the jars. This set of stuff here, this spell that we have will be able to break all of these. If I just float up here, I have to aim it straight down. That's important. So I fire this spell straight down. What it's going to do is it's going to hit the weed, break all the weeds, and then continue down to the floor and double bone meal that in an AoE. And as you can see, we instantly get the whole thing refilled back up. Now, it double grows the center block to make sure there's something there, right? It will never accidentally bone meal this warped fungus, which is important, right? Because otherwise we end up in a pretty bad situation where we might actually end up with a tree inside our fungus farm. It'll always break it first. And so I just need to grab, where'd the warped fungus go? Right here? Is it going? Yeah, there it is. We'll put some of these in here. Now we need to automate that, right? We need to automate that. And so what I want to be able to do is on a redstone clock that I can inhibit, mind you, I want to be able to cause that spell to fire. And that's what the spell prism's for. You can see that it's pointing downwards, and that is basically a spell redirector, right? So I put this here. We can manipulate it on a clock, right? And then I can have another spell turret here we can use for item pickup management on the same clock, basically. It will be wonderful. So all we have to do then is imprint this spell, which I believe is it maybe over here? I've already got it right here, right? I shift right click, boop. Right click, spell set. Now, I don't know if the source jars are close enough. We might have to actually run source over here. But let's see if we can give it a little test. Let's just make a little bit of room right here so we can get the signal up there. Yeah, it does not have enough source. Let me just grab one of the jars here. We'll split a source line over here. We have plenty of source generation over here for this. And now, boom. And it picked up everything. Perfect. We will need to inhibit my magnet in this area. Okay, so once we get a clock pulse here, what we'd like to do is then also fire another spell turret. And I think I actually have another one in storage. I've been playing a bunch with these. Here, right? So I'd like to have another one here. And this one should fire a spell that is slower, right? And it should do an AoE pickup. And that will shove everything into the storage controller once I link everything together. And that, once we get a clock on it that I can inhibit with a lever, that will be a functional farm. like that will work. And we might even move things around to make the lever easier to place. So long as these two things are sort of together. And this is here because I really wish that I could find a way to... I wish I could find a way to get the pickup on this spell, but there's just no room for it. But yeah, all I have to do is get a clock and get an item pickup spell real quick, and we should be in a good place. So give me a second to sort of finish that, and then we'll do another test, and then see about actually running this farm for a bit. All right, folks. So I had ran into a little bit of a bug with my original design. I had not tested it thoroughly, and it turns out that the spell I had that was this elegant single spell that does everything in one flash doesn't work in automation mode. That's fair enough. We can still do it. But just to sort of give you a sense of what's going on here, if I were to take some bone meal, or I would use a grow spell from ours, and bone meal some more Hypnalium, you will see that we get some stuff, right? And as long as we bone meal enough, we'll get a full 3x3 patch of everything possible. And that includes this, and in rare drops of even crimson, right? But the warped fungus is what we need to grow the materials for our upstairs work. So that's what we're going to have to work on. And this actually pops off, right? So we need to bone meal and then break and then pick up on a cycle, right? And I think we can do that fairly straightforwardly. So what I've got here are 2 spell turrets. Right now they're set to just cast the fireworks spell. And so what we need to do is bone meal them, bone meal over there, and then pick up. So right here, there's a stone button that's hard to see, but I go... And you can see that with a simple redstone repeater here, we have got a basically the 2 spells firing in sequence. So all I have to do is fire a grow spell, and then fire a break pickup spell, and somehow get them to land both in the center block. And if you may look at my inventory, you may have a plan, like see that I have a plan, right? If I just go ahead and make a horizontal portal like so, and I guess we'll just put some cobble in the bottom so that everything rests correctly. And I'll need to make sure to have a very full source jar over here, because that one's already been used a bunch in testing. Won't cut it. Fortunately, we have a lot of source saved up now. It's kind of great, actually, right? Like, don't got to worry about not having enough. So then we need to set a warp scroll. Now, it's kind of hard to get up there, but I found that if I use my personal shrinking device and then float up, I can get, well, if I'm careful... I can get exactly where I need to be. I did it! And this thing is super, helpful. So we right-click. That right? No, shift right-click. Boop. Okay, so now this is the spot that we're going to be coming out of. So I think we can probably be normal size for this part. If I toss this in here, yeah, and that emptied this out entirely. We should be able to fire those in after we break this, and we should see fireworks over here, right? So let me just... Perfect. Now you can see that it did break that. That's easy enough to fix. Let's just go over here and yeah. Even if it does change it, it won't be a problem. So now what we need to do is set up 2 spells. I have a spell parchment here. The first spell that fires should break everything. The second spell that fires should grow a bunch. So first, we'll do this, and we'll go into our spell, and for our very first spell, we're going to, instead of projectile firework, it's going to be projectile sensitive, and we said we were going to break, right? So break in a 3x3 space. And then we'll just call this sensitive 3x3 break, right? And we put this on the first spell turret to fire. Now, if I were to go back over here... oh, no, we've got everything there. If I were to fire this again... Yes, precisely. We should see everything there is exactly what we want, right? Like, that did exactly what we expect. So now the second phase is going to be an area of effect grow, and we'd like to item pickup. We should have enough room in the spell to do the item pickup. So let's go ahead up here. I think this is perfect, so we can just forget about this now. And we're just going to say grow and pick up. It's kind of cool about ours is that you can actually have spells layered like this, right? So we'll say projectile, right? And we don't need sensitive for this one. We don't want that. And we want grow in an AoE. So that should be 3 by 3. Now it's very, very important for these spells that the center tile that we hit gets a extra, gets weeds. So we're actually going to make sure to grow it again, just in case. I think this is safe. It's a little bit risky, right? Because we could end up accidentally growing our a warped fungus there into a tree, but I think the system would work itself out. So yeah, let's go ahead and then we will just add one more grow, and then we'll add pickup, right? And that pickup should go with a 1 AoE, right? Just to make sure that we capture everything. So that should go there. Now, when you use pickup from a spell turret, it'll look for adjacent inventories. This storage controller should count as all these drawers from the perspective of adjacent inventories, I'm hoping. Right, we're going to do a little bit of science here. It'd be really cool if this worked, because it would look very magical and very elegant, right? Otherwise, we could just have like a carbuncle run in there. It's not the end of the world. But there we go. Oh, this system does expect that there will be... Actually, we could try this. Yeah, there we go. This system does expect that there will already be growth there. So it's important that whenever we start, there's growth. Let's push the button. Check that out. It worked. Let's try it again. Now, the question is it going in there? So let's pull this out, and let's see if we get some... Yes! How is that? So all we have to do is put this on a timer that we can inhibit, and I guess we can, like, run the redstone right here and put a lever right there. And then we just need to have some sort of timer to control it. But other than cleaning up the build a little bit, this is a fully functional warped fungus farm. So let me go ahead and clean it up. And then we will move on to how we are going to make lots of warped fungus quickly. All right, folks, I think I've cleaned this up pretty well. And yeah, it looks pretty good. The inside's all set up. It's double firing in. It's creating lots of stuff. There's just one problem. One, it's kind of loud. But the other problem is that I'm going to leave it off for now. It basically drains a ton of source. Now, part of the problem is not so much that we can't generate this much source. We have an enormous backlog of source berries, and I've been running this flat out for a while to get those things. But the source berries as they stand just probably won't do what we need to do, right? And so that's the challenge we've got here, is that we actually need to, one, get more source links up online to actually power the automations we want to run. This is a little bit too much lighting here. But also, we need enough to actually keep up with demand. So it's two separate things. One, we need to be able to generate more source over time, and we need to be able to create more source per unit time, right? So because we only have this mycelial source link and this agronomic source link, we really can't create that much at any given point in time. So I've sort of gone through and replanted all of this and gotten rid of a bunch of secondary crops. And what we're going to do now, and I think I actually have this just sitting around, yeah, in my backpack waiting for a while, is we're going to get a bookworm. Now, I haven't played with these a lot. Here's the stairs that serve as the water block. If we go like this, that will draw in. Oh, it's lovely looking, isn't it? Oh, he's so cute. He's super cute. Oh my gosh. Yeah, look at he like followed. All right, so little bookworm there needs a spell. And that's what we're going to try and get for him now. I think I've still got, yeah, I've got some spell parchments. So really what we want little bookworm here to do is we want little bookworm to basically just harvest this stuff automatically. And if we look, little bookworm can go out to a really, really wide area. So like 9 by 9, but we could even go further. So if we could get him to go a few more blocks, we could even get him to start harvesting nether wart, which to me seems like a pretty good deal. So let's see if we can get that 9, 10, Yeah, I think this would be right, right? That should get all the way over there. And it'll go out a little bit over here, but I don't think it'll actually be a problem. And if we extend this field out this way, it's not a problem at all. So let's give him a spell, shall we? Let's just make a simple harvest spell. We can clear up this grow and pick up spell. I think we know what we need. We'll do projectile. Is that right? No, let's do touch, right? Yeah, because he's going to be just hovering right above this. Okay. Clear, touch, harvest. Right? And we'll just call this harvest time. Now, if I put a inventory right next to the bookworm, then that would let us actually put an item pickup there. And that would fully automate collection, but I don't want to because I have this little faux witch hut over here that I'm looking forward to using on another thing in just a moment. But for now, what will be nice about starting to harvest this is that we'll consistently get the agronomic source link running. Right now, it sort of stops running all the time. Not very efficient. So let's put this down, write the spell, pick it up, and we'll set the spell. There we go. So, spell set. He now should fly around. He may need to use projectile. But there are some things around him to harvest. So let's see. In a minute, he may figure it out. Buddy, are you trying to harvest something else? Strict mode. What do you think you're harvesting? My friend, what are you harvesting? The problem, he wasn't doing anything because he didn't have any source in a source jar near enough to his lectern, but now he appears to have gone wild. What happens if we restrict him a little bit down to 9x9? Now will you start working the fields, my friend? Okay, there we go. Now he's going through, and we need to go ahead and get a, I think I have a spare, I do, right? Starbuncle charm. And we can go ahead and put Starby right, I don't know, how about right here? I think he's got enough range to get over there. And we'll say, hey, you, please park things in here. There you go. All right. So there we go. We've got automated harvesting. And the Starbuncle will get to all of this pretty quick, I think. We got a little bit of a backlog, but I think normally it won't. My only question is, will the Starbuncle be able to harvest, like, over here? And it looks to me like maybe the answer is no. I can't help but feel like maybe this is a little bit unreliable. So maybe it would make a bit of sense to put a chest here and give, or on top, and maybe give up one place and then have the Starbuncle go between locations. So let's do that instead, right? I think that will be maybe a little bit more reliable. We don't have to have a big chest there, just a chest, right? So let's put this here. And we'll add item pickup to our spell. There you go. So now that should be, yeah, there's nothing falling on the ground anymore. So I can go ahead and put these things in here. And then I can set down the carbuncle. I need to clear the carbuncle's tasks, right? But this carbuncle only have one task. To move items from that chest over to here so that we don't back up, right? Oh, hey. Task cleared. All right, I need you, little friend, I need you to take from this inventory, and then I need you to put into this inventory. Okay, so now, in theory, the Starbuncle will do the ferrying for us, right? And that's good. That's kind of what we wanted. Perfect. All right, so already we've greatly improved our source generation, and we are going to make more source off of this than we had. And by the way, this chest is really big. This chest will hold each stack is 4x larger than usual, so that maybe we could put another thing in there, and maybe we put a filter in there, but we should be able to store a lot of stuff in there, to the point where I may hook up get an omnidirectional controller for the Integrated Dynamics network and hook that in. But that should work. Now, the only thing that bums me out, if I'm honest, is that I can't have this guy go out further. He seems convinced that moss is harvestable, which is weird. I'll have to look into that. But I think that this guy will also try to pick up things in the radius. So if something does get dropped, he will try to store over there. Yeah, you can see he went over and grabbed the wheat that we dropped. So really, even if we harvest by hand or use a big harvesting spell, Starbunky here will help us out. We salute you, Starbunky. Actually, can we dye a Starbuncle? Can you take a green dye? Is that a thing that you can do? Oh, look, there we go. Look at how adorable you are, Starbuncle. Oh my gosh, I love you. You are delightful. I am extremely happy that I have a green Starbuncle over here. You are great. Okay, so that should help a little bit. Now, the thing is, the other thing that we're doing is we're taking these berries here, right? And we're just immediately spitting them into this system. And that is not optimal at all. What I want to do is I want to actually prepare these berries into a better food, because the power of a mycelial source link is directly proportional to the food that you make. And so while an individual berry, let's go ahead and pull one out here, has almost no power there, right? It has one shank and half a shank of saturation. This here has 4 shanks and a bunch of saturation, right? If we compare that to just regular Minecraft bread, like so, you'll see that it's even better than bread. So the addition of berries to bread makes something that's better. Now, this food also just naturally gives us, we can eat it even when we're full. So it makes it really, really good. And all of the food like this is really amazing. But I think that if we could maybe start feeding those to mycelial source links, that would be much better, right? And so that's what we're going to try and do. To do that, I'm going to need to go ahead and make a Wixie. To make a Wixie charm, I'm going to need to make a few things. Fortunately, I've been out, but I believe I have a bunch of Wixie shards because I did a raid and a bunch of witches attacked a village. And I managed to dispel those witches when they were low on health. So what I need to do is just sit down and do the enchantment here. So give me just a moment and I'll handle that. And then we can start working on the Wixie and see if we can make a system where we actually produce high quality food. And then maybe we can stockpile some, or we can use it for high speed source production. I love this part. Pew, 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 pew. Ah, fantastic. Hello, Wixie. So the Wixie is going to make source rolls for us. Now, I think maybe we should just grab another chest as an output chest. I'm not sure if that's what we want, but it wouldn't hurt to maybe have it be right there, just for now, right? Can we go like this, and then this? Position set. I'm not sure. We'll see in a second. But I think if I use the item on her, or on the cauldron, recipe set. So now she's got source. She should be inclined to start making the things that we need. Wait, she doesn't have any berries in nearby inventory. So let me go ahead and put some berries there. And hopefully she will get enthusiastic about making that any minute now. She should have enough source. I think that's close enough. This is much further. Interesting. She doesn't seem to like the sophisticated storage. One I'll have to think about, because that's definitely tricky. But on the plus side, we do have a autocrafting system up online, and it's not terribly expensive. And I think we could move this back over here. It's unfortunate that she can't read from the sophisticated storage. That would have been really the best. All right, that's fine right there, and that should get picked up by the agronomic. So what I'm going to have to do is figure out a way to pick up all of these and deposit them somewhere. And then we'll see about making more mycelial source links, because I think that if I go ahead over here and put this on there, right, and then start the system back up, the mycelial source link should eat it, no problem. It should get the bonus because it's source food. I can actually make this go faster by going like this. We could make the timer go way faster if we wanted to, but I just don't. Oh no. Looks like I made it go too fast. I can fix that though.